People always say that failure is the best teacher. But I never believed that. Not until my biggest failure in English got 1 million views on the internet. Let me tell you how it happened. My name is Anita, and I grew up in a small town where almost nobody spoke English. My parents wanted me to learn, so they sent me to the best English tutor they could afford. Every Saturday morning, I would walk 40 minutes to Mrs. Kumar's house for my lesson. I studied hard. I memorized vocabulary lists. I practiced grammar rules. I dreamed of the day I would speak English fluently, like the people in American movies. But there was one problem. Mrs. Kumar only taught us to read and write. We never spoke. So my English lived only in books and notebooks. It had no voice. When I was 18, I got a scholarship to study at a university in the city. It was my first time leaving home. I was excited and terrified at the same time. On the first day of class, the professor walked in and said something that made my blood run cold. This is an English-only classroom. From now on, you will speak only English here. My heart started pounding. I looked around the room. Everyone else seemed calm. They were nodding like this was normal. I wanted to raise my hand and say, but I've never spoken English before. But my voice was stuck in my throat. For the first 2 weeks, I said nothing in class. I kept my head down. I wrote notes. I answered questions on paper. But I never opened my mouth. Then came the day I will never forget. The professor asked us to introduce ourselves to the person sitting next to us. Just a simple introduction. Name, where we're from, what we're studying. My partner was a friendly boy named Raj. He turned to me with a smile and said, "Hi, I'm Raj. I'm from Mumbai. I'm studying computer science. What about you?" I took a deep breath. I had prepared for this moment. I knew exactly what I wanted to say. I am Anita. I am from a small town named Chhindwara. I am studying business administration. Simple, right? For sentences. Words I had practiced 1,000 times in my head. But when I opened my mouth, something went terribly wrong. I am Anita. I am from small town. How you say, chicken farm? Raj's eyes went wide. His mouth fell open. And then he started laughing. Not a small laugh. A loud, uncontrollable laugh that made the whole class turn and look at us. I felt my face burn. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to crawl under the desk and never come out. I'm sorry, Raj said, still laughing. Did you just say you're from a chicken farm? I wanted to explain. I wanted to say that my hometown, Chhindwara, sounds a little like the word for chicken in some languages. I wanted to say that my brain was so nervous it mixed up the words. I wanted to say that I knew the difference, but my mouth just wouldn't cooperate. But I couldn't say any of that, because I was too embarrassed to speak another word. That night, I went back to my small room and cried. I called my mother and told her I wanted to come home. I told her I was a failure. I told her I would never learn English. My mother listened quietly. Then she said something I will never forget. You did not fail, Beta. You tried. And trying is not failing. But I didn't believe her. For weeks, I went back to being silent in class. I answered only when called upon, and even then, I spoke so quietly that people had to lean in to hear me. Then one night, I was scrolling through my phone, feeling sorry for myself. I came across a video on YouTube. It was a girl from Korea trying to speak English for the first time. She was nervous. She made mistakes. She pronounced words wrong. And the comments were full of people saying things like, "You're so brave. I made the same mistake. This gives me hope." I watched video after video. People from Japan, from Brazil, from Egypt, from France. All of them making mistakes. All of them laughing at themselves. All of them getting love and support from strangers around the world. And I thought, maybe I'm not alone. Maybe my chicken farm story is not the end of the world. Maybe it's just a story. So one night, I did something I never thought I would do. I took out my phone. I opened the camera. And I started talking. I told them about my small town. I told them about Mrs. Kumar and her silent English lessons. I told them about the first day of class. I told them about Raj laughing. I told them about the chicken farm. I didn't edit the video much. I didn't add music or effects. I just sat there in my tiny room and told my story. At the end, I said, I thought this moment was my biggest failure. But now I think, maybe it's just my beginning. If you've ever made a mistake in English, please tell me in the comments. I want to know I'm not alone. Then I posted the video and went to sleep. The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing like crazy. I thought something was wrong. I picked it up and looked at the screen. 1.2 million views. I rubbed my eyes. I looked again. 1.2 million views. Thousands of comments. Hundreds of new subscribers. I opened the comments with shaking hands. Anita, I'm from Brazil, and I once told my teacher I was full of gas instead of full of energy. I thought I would die. Thank you for making me feel normal. I'm from Germany. I asked for a dick in a restaurant because I confused the words thick and dick. The waiter almost called the police. Your video made me laugh so hard I cried. I'm a native English speaker from Canada. And you know what? I still make mistakes every single day. Your English is beautiful because it's yours. Comment after comment. Story after story. People from everywhere sharing their own chicken farm moments. And not one person made fun of me. Not one. That day, I learned something that changed my life forever. English is not about being perfect. English is about being brave. For years, I thought fluency meant never making mistakes. I thought people would judge me for every wrong word, every bad pronunciation, every awkward sentence. But the truth is the opposite. People don't connect with perfection. They connect with honesty. They connect with struggle. They connect with the person who is brave enough to try, even when they're scared. That video changed everything for me. Not because I became famous. Not because I made money. But because I finally understood that my so-called failure was actually my greatest gift. Today, I speak English every single day. I still make mistakes. Just last week, I told my boss I was feeling hoarse instead of feeling horse. He laughed, I laughed, and then he said, "That's why I love working with you. You're real." My channel grew because of that one video. People kept coming back to watch me learn, to watch me struggle, to watch me grow. They didn't want a perfect English teacher. They wanted a friend who was on the same journey as them. And that's what I am. A friend who is still learning. A friend who still makes mistakes. A friend who knows that every wrong word is just a step closer to getting it right. So here is what I want to ask you today. What is your chicken farm story? What is the mistake that made you want to give up? What is the moment you still cringe about when you remember it? I want you to do something. I want you to write it in the comments. Not for me. For yourself. And for the thousands of other people who will read it and think, "Oh, I'm not alone." Because that is how we learn. Not by being perfect, but by being brave enough to be imperfect together. That video with 1 million views taught me one final lesson. The biggest failure is not making mistakes. The biggest failure is staying silent because you're afraid to make them. So don't stay silent. Speak. Make mistakes. Laugh at yourself. And watch what happens. You might just find that your biggest failure becomes your biggest beginning. Thank you for watching English Through Stories. If this story helped you, please hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe so you never miss another story. Remember, every expert was once a beginner who refused to give up. See you in the next story.